azi kubw'inanga ye mu gihe cy'umwijima ariko noneho ubu ngubu ruhagaze nk'urumuri rw'isi yose. Ikindi kandi tukakira umushyitsi wacu mukuru ndetse n'abandi bashyitsi. Umushyitsi wacu mukuru akaba ari Minister of Justice, Minisitiri w'Ubutabera Johnson Businge. Thank you for being here today with us.
Thank you too.
Well, Hippolyte is a young person, and he was born a few years before the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, and we are going to be hearing more about his uphill journey during the genocide. And I have a few questions for you, Hippolyte, to help us deep dive into the story of your survival. And you feel free to answer as much as information you have and you're willing to share with us tonight.
Great.
So tell us more about your life before the genocide. How was it like? How were you growing up? And tell us about your journey, especially during the 1994 genocide.
Thank you. I was born 7 years before the genocide, and I was born in Cyangugu, former Cyangugu, in the area very well known as Mibirizi. I was born in a family, and I was the youngest of 7 children. And, you know, our life was decent. We had joy. We were not a rich family, but we were a happy family, if I would say. And before then, I mean, when I was growing up, there were some really tragic events that were taking place about my elder siblings. 2 of my sisters were not allowed to go to high school because they were Tutsi, and my dad was assaulted for many times because he was a Tutsi. And like the family, in a village where we used to live, there were so many incidents that were showing us that maybe the future is not going to be as joyful as it was that time, or as joyful as we would wish. So 7 years later, then genocide took place.
So how was your experience or your life during the genocide, especially?
I mean, as a young child, 7 years, you always depend on your father, your parents, your siblings. But when the genocide against Tutsi took place, you know, we had to all try to survive. And when in a tragic event like genocide, you do everything to survive, but you can't help yourself to survive. So what happened, we ran away, of course. I survived, but you know, there were times I was made a child slave for the killers for about a month before I escaped to a refugee camp. I've seen my dad being killed and left to the dogs to eat. I have seen my many relatives being killed, and many of my aunts were raped not far from where I was hiding. And many of my friends, I've seen them being killed. I've seen many men and women being killed in a very inhuman way. And guys, how did I survive? By a miracle. But during that time, I was hiding under dead bodies, in mass graves at the church, Mibirizi church, where we were hiding. You know, sometimes parents or people who knew us would tell us where to hide, and sometimes when on 21st of April, when the really big attack happened at the church, it's when we were being thrown by older people. Like you would be thrown in a mass grave so that you can be saved at least. And you know, those are the experiences I had. And then I had to go to a refugee camp, and life was and the refugee camp was in a place called Nyarushishi. And life was not easy. It was life without food, life without security, and sometimes people could come and kill in a refugee camp. So life, the only hope we had was probably to die and leave the misery behind. That's briefly the events or things that happened to me until I survived, until the RPA soldiers took us from the refugee camp a few months after the genocide.
Hippolyte, I have to recognize that it's so powerful that today you're standing here with us telling your story. It's a very big step. And, after the 1994 genocide, I can just imagine how tough it was. And before I proceed to the next question, by the way, I read your bio. I know that you are an artivist. I guess that means that you use art in your activism. And you tackle different subjects, including the intergenerational transmission of hate. And you use as well the theater and storytelling for advocacy and healing. So tell us, what did you do to overcome those hardships that came being a survivor? Or what did you do to become as positive as you are today?
I mean, a few months after the genocide, after I left the refugee camp, I had to start my primary school, and it wasn't an easy day for the whole day for the school day. I could be sitting in class and remembering the screaming voices of people I've seen being killed, or the screaming voices of women I've seen raped. So it wasn't an easy time, and I didn't speak for most of the school days. And what I had to do, I was always wondering, how am I going to tell the stories because of the emotions I had were not expressed, and I only wanted to say what I have seen. And by the help of by the help of a school teacher, I was able to create a theater club. And then I started using using theater as a tool to tell the stories, as a tool to tell people what I have gone through when I was during the genocide. So I continued using theater until I went to university. I mean, luckily, I don't know how I succeeded in my classes, having gone through those things. So that's where my art part of life started. It started because of the will and the need to tell the story through that. But life wasn't easy, because at age of 15, I met a very testing time when I couldn't go to school anymore because I couldn't find enough money for transportation to go from Cyangugu to Kivuye, where I was transferred to a new school. Then that was a testing time, and I was like, how am I going to survive? How am I going to live? Because all my revenge and future and resilience was invested in education. Then that time I was not able to go. So what happened is I too started thinking of how I could become a killer and do revenge. But I went and I was introduced to sociology and theater, and then I came to realize that what was killing us was not blood. And that's the time I started saying, I'm going to go back, and what can I do to help the community and generations to come to overcome the problems that will arise in the future. That's when I started using theater for reconciliation, and I went back in family, and we have the people we knew that who have confessed to us. We said, we forgive you. And that's the decision I made. I said, okay, from forgiving, this is what I'm going to be doing. I will pass my messages through theater, through the arts, and that's what I do today. I use it as to prevent the intergenerational transmission of hate, and through my organization as well. And I have to say, as an art. I'm undertaking a 100-day walk from 15th April, walking across the country from Cyangugu and the north and everywhere. And that will be also telling the stories and by the way, I invite everybody who would want to join me for a day or for a week. So that's what I do in my everyday life.
So from your experience in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, I can feel, and everybody in the public, I think you are feeling how much he is a living testimony. From the essence of our conversation, I know that you have so much inspiration to share. What would you be your message to us, young people?
Be nice. Be nice. And do what you think you wish to be done for. And if you think you are a human being who deserve who deserve goodness from other people, so be nice and provide goodness, and think about what could you have become if you were taught to hate, and what will your children, your generation that you will be the mother or dad for, what will they leave? So I believe peace is something we give, not what we seek to get from others. So be the peace and be nice. That's my advice, I would say.
So before I thank him, I would like to stress on something he briefly mentioned. He is actually starting a 100 days walk all over the country to tell his story and to make sure that he has covered all the ground of the country. So if anyone is willing to join, I think he'll be here. He can give you more details.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for your invaluable testimony, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Have a good day, evening.
So I'll just do a brief translation for our Kinyarwanda speakers. Mu kiganiro ngiranye na Hippolyte warokotse jenoside yakorewe abatutsi mu 1994 yagiye ahura n'ibintu byinshi birimo kwicirwa abantu bo mu muryango we, kumva ba nyirasenge bafatwa ku ngufu ahantu hatari kure cyane naho yari yihishe. Ariko nyuma yaho iyo jenoside yakorewe abatutsi ikirangira, yari afite ibintu byinshi muri we, ku buryo yakoresheje ikinamico kugira ngo bya bitekerezo yagiraga byo kumva wenda agomba kwihorera cyangwa gukora ikindi kintu kibi, bamufashije noneho kugira ngo abashe kwibona, atangire gutekereza kubaho mu rukundo, avemo umuntu mwabonye hano uri ku ruhande rwiza kandi uri kuvuga inkuru ye uyu munsi. Hari ikintu atavuze ariko nagira ngo mvuge, yambwiye ko ari ubwa mbere yaragiye kuvuga imbere y'abantu bangana gutya avuga inkuru ye, numvaga ari ikintu cyiza, ari nayo mpamvu namushimiye cyane. So before we proceed, I would also like to let you know that in the back there is coffee for you to purchase, and if you're willing, please take a few minutes to go and have your coffee. Ikindi navugaga nuko hari inyuma hari ikawa ku bantu bakeneye kuba bagira icyo banywa, mugende mugura agakawa dukomezanye. Ikintu kigiye gukurikiraho rero ni umukino w'ikinamico wa Pasi n'inshuti ze. Ikinamico ni ikintu gikomeye cyane, ntabwo ari ikintu ndibuze kuvuga kuko ubundi ubuhanzi burivugira, ariko nanone nagiraga ngo mbibutse, nidukomeza kuvuga cyane biratugora kumva ubutumwa buri mu ikinamico. So, I was saying that the next thing on the agenda is a play. By Rutabingwa Pasi and his friends, who are going to be showing you what I'm not going to introduce, because I was saying that art is at the same time complex and easy because it can tell its own stories. It doesn't need any introductions. So I will just leave space to them so that you can have time to interact with their art directly.
Singuhishamana ndananiwe umutima wanjye urantegeka nabuze amahoro nduhure ndacyabunamiye sindata igiti muri twe harurari ntarama i Bugesera abandi inzozi zibera Gisozi hari n'abirirwa Bisesero n'abagorobereza ahandi nkaho munyarwanda w'i Rwanda ibuka igihe gishize cyo gashira imigezi yahindutse amaraso ndacyabunamiye sindata igiti babana b'ibitambambuga ndabibuka hari n'abashangukiye imusozi hari n'ababuriwe irengero ndacyabunamiye sindata igiti sinkwibutsa kwibuka guhora wibuka uko mwana gato ukabibuka cyangwa se ukibuka singuhishamana ndananiwe umutima wanjye urantegeka nabuze amahoro nduhure ndacyabunamiye sindata igiti
igiti ni ubuzima igiti gitanga ubuzima igiti ni umuturanyi mwiza igiti ni umuntu niyo mpamvu twifashishije igiti nk'urugero rwiza rwo kubumvisha inkuru mbarirano inzira y'amagorwa abacu baciyemo mu gihe cya Jenoside yakorewe Abatutsi